do need to mute cough. Mute the whole thing. That's a card. A card.
Do you want to go?
I'll wait until Kingston come out. Then I can.
Oh, they're not there.
Yeah. No point stressing yourself.
Be lucky never. I hate that corner. I can't ever see.
Yeah, the shade doesn't help you either, does it?
No.
Alright, once the ref comes in. No referee there at the moment. Hey, good point. Line is hit. Live pictures from Lawton Park as we're here at Langy TV. Welcome you to Lawton Park Reserve on a fine autumn day in May for some MPL2 Victoria football round 9, kicking off here in the second division of the Victorian football as the home side Langwarrin look to take on high-flying Kingston City. Both sides looking to get back to winning ways this weekend. Langwarrin coming off the back of a Friday night thriller last week in a 1-1 draw against Pascoe Vale, and a few changes to the side from that game. Meanwhile, Kingston City, second place on the MPL table, staring down the chance to head into top spot if results elsewhere go their way, and looking to get back onto the 3-point pathway after they lost unexpectedly to the North Geelong Warriors. So two sides with plenty to play for this afternoon on a fine day in May. As I said, we'll get straight into the lineups for both sides, starting off with the away side. In between the sticks for Kingston City is number 1, Rani Dawisha, 5, Faisal Sakizada, I should say, 6, Philip Petreski, 7, Cooper Legrand, 11, Anthony Giannopoulos, 13, Daniel Bennett, 17, Mark Offer, 19, Gio Marafiotti, number 22, the captain, Simo Jovanovic, number 23, Peter Skapetis, and number 77, Stephen Hatzakostas. And for the home side, Langwarrin, as always, guarding the goal is the number 1, Fraser McLaren, number 2, Luke Gallo, number 3, Jamie Cumming, the captain, number 5, Jaden Medafri, number 6, Callum Goulding, number 7, Jeremy Minfart, number 9, a goal scorer last week against Pascoe Vale, making his way back into the starting lineup this week, Tom Youngs, number 14, Sam Orritt, 18, Lucas Portelli, 26, Rogan McGeorge, and number 33, Marcus Holmes. So two changes for the Langwarrin side this week as both Luke Gallo and Tom Youngs make their way into the starting fold. Former of those two doing it for the first time today in a blue shirt. It's bench filled with attacking firepower for the home side, made up of 10, Shayan Alinajad, 7, Slaven Vrenesevic, 15, George Howard making his return from quite a lengthy hamstring injury, number 17, Demir Stojlovic, and reserve keeper, number 40, Faraz Zanouzi, as the referee, Ahmad El Jalali, looks to get us underway here at Lawton Park, which, having looked through the broadcast that you can currently see, is pretty as a picture as the home side get us underway with this diagonal. Medafri, bit hot on the first time pass inside to Goulding. Hatzakostas, the drag back, gets himself free of Sam Orrit. Skapetis. Losing out on the chance to take on Luke Gallo. That time around, it'll be an interesting battle, not necessarily between Gallo and Skapetis, but certainly between Jaden Medafri and Peter Skapetis, as Giordano Marafiotti, or Gio as he's known at Kingston City, is flagged offside. Of course, the Marafiotti name, very popular one in Victorian football. Older brother Jordan, older brother Pep, I should say. Marafiotti playing up in the top division with Dandenong Thunder and doing an awfully good job of things at the moment. Another side from the southeast. Offair. Knocks back to Hatzakostas, who evades the pressure of Luke Gallo. Certainly bringing a lot of energy early doors. Here's the Langwarrin number 2 as Offair makes that no-touch turn. Pass forward to Skapetis. Rogan McGeorge picks up the pieces. Offair. It's out wide with Anthony Giannopoulos. Picks up this throw. Brought down by Marafiotti. Trying to turn Marcus Holmes, but central defender got the better of him. Here's Portelli, just losing his footing, but doing just about enough. And that's sprayed well by Rogan McGeorge. Langwarrin taking their time to knock it around the back. Of course, a great chance for the hosts to claim a big scalp up against second place Kingston, who have been the attacking force of the NPL2 so far this season. 25 goals to their name, just 9 rounds in. I did the maths before this game because I am a bit like that. That's an average of over 3 goals across the season, and they're averaging over 4 in their last 3. It's 15. It's 12 goals in their last 3 games, I meant to say. An average of 4, highlighted by that 7-4 win over Manningham United back in round 5. So certainly plenty of firepower for the away side. And a big test for the Langwarrin defence. Goulding, nice. Outside of the foot flick to find Portelli in space. Decent cross into the penalty area, cleared away there by Anthony Giannopoulos, and Langwarrin get the first corner of the game. As always, Langy fans, do keep your comments coming through on the Langy TV live stream. We'll get to them after this corner. So that one is sent high by Tom Youngs all the way back out to the other side of the field. Luke Gallo trying to keep it in, eventually thwarted by Hatzakostas. And now Skapetis. Chance to get around a few. Loses out. Diagonal in behind, looking for Tom Youngs. It's nothing more than catching practice for Rani Dawisha, the Kingston City keeper. Mark Offair held up on the borderline of legality there by Jamie Cumming. Shout out to James Bretnell, who is watching from Port Douglas. Let us know where you are watching from or how you're watching. Just let us know anything. Drop a comment in that Langy TV live stream. Throw cleared away by Minfar. The effort from distance doesn't clear the first line of the Langwarrin defence as Jovanovic sends that one up into the autumn sky. And Ahmad El Jalali ends the head tennis there. Signals for a free kick in favour of Callum Goulding. As I said, if you weren't able to catch the game last week for Langwarrin, it was a cracking 1-1 draw, if you can say that about a 1-1 draw, against Pascoe Vale last Friday night out CB Smith Reserve. Chances are plenty for both sides, both home and away, but neither one could find the go-ahead goal, but it certainly kept its drama right to the last. George, good challenge to deny the counter-attack. Tom Youngs is brought down by Anthony Giannopoulos legally, according to Ahmed Al-Jalali. Ball coming to nothing for Langwarrin. It's collected by Faisal Sakizada. Well-liked face out in the Kingston City camp. He's been with the club for a long time. He's been in Australia since 2012. He came across from overseas to join the Dandenong Thunder. He's previously playing in the Afghan Premier League as that one comes to nothing. Sawa. Safa. It's his nickname around the club. Luke Gallo misses out on a good chance to intercept that one, but Portelli makes good where Gallo could not. Holmes clearing that one away, only as far as Cooper Legrand. Marshalled well into the corner by the duo of Madafri and Gallo. As Philip Petreski comes across to take this corner kick. Kingston's first of the evening on the broadcast side. Jovanovic moving in the penalty box. It doesn't find him. Finds the forehead of Marcus Holmes, who clears well. Manager, of course, for Langwarrin, Scott Miller. Hasn't gone anywhere just yet. And Kon Tangalakis, manager for Kingston City. Spent time at a few prominent clubs in Victorian football, not least the Oakley Cannons and South Melbourne as well. Daniel Bennett taking that throw, looking for Legrand. Could only find the head of Rogan McGeorge, though. Legrand, for those who aren't familiar, number 7, with the dreadlock ponytail. I'm not really sure what the official terminology for it is, but it's mighty impressive. I'll give him that. Sakizada to Dowisher. Samora applied pressure there. Kingston nearly cleared away. Eventually, Langwarrin do pick up possession. Only for a moment. Petreski. New face for Kingston, joined back in May from Nunawading City. He's popped himself straight into the midfield of the seaside. Ivanovic. Skapetis does well to keep in that, well, doesn't do well enough to keep in the long ball from Faisal Sakizada. I thought he had done a good job, but the linesman on the broadcast side thought otherwise. Probably in a better position to judge. Daniel Bennett exchanging a few words with the home fans on the fence. All's fair in love and war, I guess. Langwarrin pick up a foul there. Mark Offair was the Kingston player who came in a little too hot. One, two, just falling apart there between Portelli and Cal Goulding. Portelli, just his second game since his Langwarrin return. He's obviously familiar with these teammates, but there is still a bit of an adjustment process that has to happen. A few centimetres wide of the mark, that pass. Sakizada heads for home. Off there, giving chase. McLaren forced to come off his line. Knock that one into touch. There's a bit of a hidden hope from Rani Dowisher in the Kingston goals, but the pace of Mark Offair nearly gave Fraser McLaren quite a few problems. George just misjudging that one. Grand was being triple teamed there. Not a lot you can do up against those sorts of odds. Of course, Scott Miller, no stranger to the threat of Cooper Legrand, who was giving pressure there. Tried to sign him in 2019, if my memory serves me correctly, back when Kingston City were in the NPL relegation battle. But it wasn't to be, and now he takes on Scott Miller's Langwarrin side. Here he is on the ball, Legrand. Distributing wide to Bennett. Just ran out of room, free of Langwarrin defenders to manoeuvre there. Jovanovic chesting and bobbling that pass out to his centre-back partner, Sakizada. Both sides still just jostling for control. Marafiotti comes away cleaning with that one, though. Now Skapetis on the right. Back to Petreski, who can hit them from distance, but decides against doing so. Back with Skapetis. Salmon pink boots. He's caused opposition defences plenty of dangers throughout this season, but nothing doing there. Both sides still yet to assert themselves. It's been scrappy early. Langwarrin trying to build together something of quality now. Goulding. Two Youngs. Got their numbers back quickly, Kingston, but the chance is still alive for Langwarrin as Tom Youngs breaks free, takes a deflection, and it took enough of the sting and the venom and the danger off it to allow Rani Dawisha to pick it up pretty comfortably. Skapetis, the nonchalant control. Now wide with Bennett. Gets his way around Jaden Madafri. He's got a few defenders for company. Tries to poke that one forward to Gio Marafiotti. He just poked a bit too far, but it was nice work from Bennett on that right flank. McGeorge had a Kingston player hot on his heels. And now Skapetis, the chance to go at Jaden Madafri. Crosses that one well into the area, but no one was willing to come and claim it. It was over both Legrand and Marafiotti who were waiting at the near post. It was a good tackle to set up the chance initially from Stephen Hatzakostas. Hatzakostas. Legrand. Nice one-touch layoff to off-air, who's ball in behind for Gio Marafiotti. Was offline. Of course, this game at Lawton Park being played and streamed on Langy TV, but also being played concurrently with 3 other NPL2 fixtures. Just the one goal from those 3 to bring to you so far over in Moreland. It is Moreland City with a 1-0 lead over Manningham United, who already, inside 15 minutes, are down to 10. So things continuing to go from bad to worse for Manningham United. It's Minfar. Well-shaped cross, but didn't find any of the intended targets. Gallo was trying to bring that one down and keep it in play. But even for the most talented of footballers, it was always a difficult ask. Credit to Luke Gallo, though. He nearly made it work. Because the other NPL2 fixtures happening at the moment. One over at Elko Park, where North Geelong take on Brunswick City. And one at the John Cain Memorial Park. A lot of parks being involved today. It's Northcote City take on Pascoe Vale. And Gio Marafiotti brings that one down. The low shot is blocked by Jamie Cumming. It was good control from the Kingston City number 19. See the Langwarrin Bike Brigade off in the distance of this Kingston City throw. Looking for Sakizada. Sauntered his way up from centre back to get on the end of that long throw, and Langwarrin nearly could have taken advantage if Tom Youngs had kept his feet. I believe it was Phil Petreski who brought down Tom Youngs just to stop that counter-attack. That wasn't a free kick, in fact. It was a throw-in for Langwarrin. First time pass from Goulding, cut out by Off-Air. Now Petreski going down under the contact of Cal Goulding, and Tom Youngs with that speculative diagonal takes a deflection on its way to the target, Luke Gallo, who had the chance to drive at Daniel Bennett. Moves his way inside, now goes back to Tom Youngs. Inside for Goulding. Thought about the strike from distance, decided against it. Youngs jinking his way And asking a lot of Minfire, who covered a lot of ground to try and retrieve that one. And there's a battle between Anthony Giannopoulos and Luke Gallo to see whether that one would end in a corner or a goal kick. It just went in favour of the Kingston defender. Marafiotti battling with both Medafri and Holmes. Holmes coming in strong, and while he didn't win the ball, his physical intervention was enough to allow Jaden Medafri to collect. Bennett tweaks his way around Sammy Orrit. Medafri. Portelli switching the play. But Cumming just misjudged that one and quite blatantly is forced to pull back the shirt of Cooper Legrand, who would have been through on goal there, but Captain Jamie Cumming had really no choice in that instance but to concede the foul and pick up a yellow card, his third of the season, and one that Scott Miller will probably think was a necessary one. One of the last things you want is Kingston side with so much firepower is one of their best and brightest guns bearing down on goal in the form of Cooper Legrand. Haven't completely avoided danger, however. Langwarrin. Kingston City will still have the free kick from about 35 yards out. A few bodies are waiting in the penalty area. Not least the centre-back pairing of Faisal Sakizada and Simo Jovanovic. It does come in looking for Skapetis at the back post. Just had a little bit too much loft on it, that free kick. I don't think it was intended for Skapetis, but he tried his best to bring it down. Jamie Cumming hits the turf here. He's been involved in all the action in the last few minutes. Received some medical attention. Of course, any defensive injury problems would be something of a headache for Langwarrin, with 4 attack-minded options making up the bench at the moment. Although Lucas Portelli is playing in defensive midfield and can perform at centre-back if required, so Langwarrin do have options if they are forced into a change here. Hopefully they're not. Looks as though Captain Cumming will be right to continue, but he will have to leave the field of play. However, that is the rule when you receive medical attention. Portelli loses that one. And McGeorge has given it straight to Legrand, who just overcooked his pass to Mark Offe. Cumming now come back to the field of play and has hoofed that one away. Warren trying to bring it to ground. Eventually they do through Lucas Portelli. The diagonal ball looking for Tom Youngs. It's heading its way towards the line, but Youngs does bring down. Chance to drive at Giannopoulos. The fullback stands him up. Off end now. Moving down that left. Jinks his way around one, and Jamie Cumming is in a bit of trouble here because he's already on a card. He stuck that leg out to bring down Mark Offe, who was streaming his way down the left. And I wouldn't be surprised, unfortunately for Langwarrin, if that might be the end of the day for Jamie Cumming. He was walking his way away from referee Ahmad Al-Jalali with his head down, trying not to pick up too much suspicion. Hasn't brandished a card as of yet, but is having a very, very stern talking to with Cumming, who is allowed to stay on the field of play here. So Jamie Cumming picked up a card for an earlier incident with Cooper Legrand, brought down Mark Offair for Kingston as he was coming down the left side, just stuck the trailing leg out and Offair went down. Kingston City players appealed for it with quite a high level of aggression. Jamie Cumming had slunk away to the other side of the field, and after a stern talking to from Ahmad Al-Jalali, the final decision, maybe it might not be the final decision, but the current decision is that Jamie Cumming keeps his place on the field. But Al-Jalali is discussing with his fourth official at the moment. Now with Stephen Hatzakostas. One thing's for certain, it'll definitely be another free kick for Kingston City. Whether or not Langwarrin defend it with 10 or 11 remains to be seen. I think the fact that the referee hasn't gone over to Jamie Cumming after conversing with the fourth official is a good sign if you're a Langwarrin fan. Just trying to explain the decision perhaps to Stephen Hatzakostas. And Langwarrin will defend the free kick with 11. Hatzakostas puts in. Jovanovic was moving for it. Marafiotti brings down and can only put his shot into the turf and have it bounce up into the palms of Fraser McLaren. George Daffrey going inboard to Marcus Holmes. Some risky passes from Langwarrin, and they do cough it up now. Legrand poking it wide to Giannopoulos, who goes down. Picks up yet another free kick over on the far side. Still 0-0 with 30 minutes played here. Free kick flicked on by Mark Offair with the outstretched leg. He was still rising as the free kick was coming down, and maybe the sheer physics of it all meant that he couldn't ever get it down in the way he wanted. And all that he could really do was float that one agonizingly over the bar for Kingston, but certainly the closest they have come to a breakthrough. As a man who has been in the thick of everything up to this point, but won't be involved in any of the action to come, is Jamie Cumming. Does eventually leave the field of play, not as a result of marching orders, but is brought off. Maybe that earlier injury for the captain was too much for the defender to bear, or maybe the early yellow card and the stern warning, Scott Miller thought, I'm not going to take the risk. So it is a Langwarrin debut in the place of Jamie Cumming for the number 11 with the very sharp hair, Slaven Vranesevic. Was named in the team for the first time last week against Pascoe Vale, but was an unused substitute. Picked him up from a side who currently trailed 2-0 over at Moreland City in Manningham United. He's also played with Springvale White Eagles, Bulleen, and Kingston. So he's coming up against his former side today, where he won the MPL2 title back in 2016. So a well-credentialed player, Slaven Franesevic. We've seen what he could do in a Manningham shirt against us. Let's see what he can do for us. I was looking for Portelli. It falls to Holmes. Crosses that one in. And the cross ends up in a shot there from Marcus Holmes. He just floated that one very tentatively into the penalty area. He didn't seem too confident about his ability to swing a cross in. And in that doubt, nearly came something completely devastating. As that one just bonked its way off the crossbar. He's Holmes again, clearing. Youngs under a lot of pressure from Mark Offair. Scoreless so far in this first half here at Lawton Park between Langwarrin and Kingston City. Langwarrin forced into a first half change. Jamie Cumming leaving the field of play for Slaven Franesevic, who's on the ball here. Plays that one to Luke Gallo, whose flick was a good idea and would have played through Franesevic quite nicely onto the left, but it just didn't connect. Can be a game of inches. It was a few inches wrong for Luke Gallo that time around. And fell right into the lap of Madafri after Cooper Legron missed the header. All right, was stretching, but missed it. Jovanovic going back to Dawisha. It's forced to clear. Sakizada has given that one straight to Sam Orrit. And luckily, for Safa, his defensive partner, Anthony Giannopoulos, was alert to snuff out the danger. Legrand lays it straight off to Cal Goulding. It was Portelli who had sauntered his way forward. He's now moved back to the centre of defence alongside Marcus Holmes. So that's a towering defensive partnership for Langwarrin. So Franesevic came into the midfield. And Portelli comes into the defence. The deepest man at the moment is Rogan McGeorge, though. I see that a lot from him this season. He drops out of midfield and helps move the possession play in the defensive third. I'd imagine that decision has something to do with his ability to play and spray long passes. So that one comes in behind from Tom Youngs, who was clever there. He touched it away from Sakizada. It wasn't necessarily a threatening position to receive the ball, but he touched it away knowing that Sakizada was coming through and got the ball clear of any potential contact from the defender. And all that was left to happen was for Tom Youngs to get himself collected by the Kingston City centre-back. Minfar heading for the line, held up by Giannopoulos. Goes back for Franesevic. The dinking cross looking for Orrit as Rani Dawisha just spills that one. Nervy moment for the Kingston stopper. George chesting and forced into a bit of a risky challenge on Gio Marafiotti, but he did win the ball. Wasn't too many complaints from the Kingston number 19. It's part of a pretty threatening front three for Kingston. It's missing one of its crown jewels today, though, Trent Skapetis, who's their top scorer with 5 for this season. picked up his 5th yellow card in that loss last week to North Geelong, so he's not available for this one. But still, plenty of quality attacking players. Not least the man who just passed it there, Skapetis number 2, Peter Skapetis. Sakizada just asking for movement ahead of him and didn't find anything. And in the end, he just kind of sent a hopeful ball forward. Jaden Medaffery miscleared and forces a punch. It probably isn't quite in the textbook from Fraser McLaren, but it worked. Again, do let us know where you're watching from. If you are tuning in on Langy TV, 35 viewers at the moment. Tag your friends if they're missing the Langwarrin game at the moment. Get them involved. That's just on Facebook, though. We've also got viewers on YouTube who are getting a very reliable stream picture over there. That's a hacked pass away from Portelli. I'm not really sure what he was thinking there, and Kingston may profit from the error. Skapetis has his shot blocked by the outstretched legs of Marcus Holmes. A weird sort of a ball from Lucas Portelli. Kind of just hit it into the ground, and it bobbled along the surface here at Lawton Park. Skapetis was moving with plenty of room on the right. Hit the shot early, maybe trying to deceive Fraser McLaren, but he wasn't going to confuse Marcus Holmes. Got his leg out to block it. Petreski had Sakizada rising. The low shot comes in from Hatzakostas, who loses out to Luke Gallo. He's got Petreski and Hatzakostas for company, and that ball just travelled over the line before it could find Tom Youngs. Risky flick over the top from Jaden Medaffery forces that clearance from Fraser McLaren. Mark Offair. Nice little roulette to get his way around Jeremy Minfar. Now the first time shot. Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And I suppose Mark Offair thought, I've done the hard bit. Now let's add to things with the finish. It wasn't to be. Shout out to Wayne Valentine, who's watching this game from his beer garden in Janjuk. I can think of worse places to be. Richie May, as always, watching in Mission Beach. Hello to you, Richie. And to Charles, who says that Luke Gallo is the king of Victoria. Well, if he scores today, he could well be the king of Langwarrin, but we'll have to see. If you've got any questions as well, please do send them in. One coming on the Facebook stream all the way from Mission Beach from Richie May asking, did Jamie Cumming get subbed? The answer is yes, he did get subbed. He nearly got himself red carded very early into this game, picking up a second yellow, but he was allowed to stay on the field only for a few more minutes. Jeremy Minfar really gambled to win that one and nearly took out Rani Dawisha, but it ended up working out. So Jamie Cumming did get subbed off the field to play. Slaven Vranesevic was the player who replaced him for a Langwarrin debut, no less. Holmes flying in to win that one. Heading towards the end of the first half at Langwarrin. It's Marafiotti trying to work the angle to deliver back to Bennett. Daffrey emerges victorious. Orrit skewing that attempted first-time pass. It's Legrand rising, forces a unorthodox clearance from Cal Goulding, and eventually Fraser McLaren very gratefully holds that ball in his hands. Youngs loses out to Petreski. Minfar works his way inside. Mark Offair, held up by Anthony Giannopoulos. Orrit knocks back to Goulding. Now with McGeorge. Pushes wide. Minfar, his attempted pass deflected. It's out to Giannopoulos. Works that ball forward, but only as far as Jeremy Minfar. Now Youngs was waiting for runners into the penalty area, perhaps for an early cross. Didn't happen. Have another chance to create here. Sends it down the line. Minfar works his way around Hatzikostas. Now knocks back to Goulding, whose cross, I wouldn't call it a cross. It was a pass across the face of goal. Didn't find a Langwarrin teammate. Good tackle from Slaven Vrnesevic, but Ahmad Al-Jalali just pulling it back for an earlier infringement by Luke Gallo on Daniel Bennett. Difficult one for Legrand, but he flicked it down. He was under physical pressure from Lucas Portelli. Sakazada busts his way through Tom Youngs and punts that one forward. Langwarrin tasked with the challenge of mopping it up. They could only do so momentarily, as Medafri couldn't connect his pass to Luke Gallo. As we approach first half stoppage time, we'll wait to see how many minutes are on the board. We have had a few stoppages. Most of them have been involved or been to do with Jamie Cumming, be it for substitution, for injury attention, or for nearly receiving some disciplinary sanctions. In fairness to the Langwarrin captain, he's probably provided the best entertainment of the half so far. The chances have been few and far between for both sides. Jamie Cummings near sending off and then early substitution, the main talking point. Remains to be seen if either side can change that. As Marafiotti has his pocket picked by Rogan McGeorge. Kingston win it back. Skapetis plays forward to Legrand. 1-2 doesn't connect, but he nearly won it back anyway, Peter Skapetis. McGeorge hooks that one away. Ball sent in behind, looking for Orrit. Nowhere near the number 14. Luke Gallo being asked a lot of to control that one. He completely fresh aired it right in front of the Gus McLeod stand. That's a real welcome to your new home support. Cooper Legrand showing Luke Gallo how it's done. He goes down under the challenge of Marcus Holmes. It was the right side of the penalty box line, if you're a Langwarrin fan. Cooper Legrand receives a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area, almost over the top of the line. It was beautiful close control by Legrand to pluck it down out of the sunny sky. And Marcus Holmes was so impressed by the control that he just fell over and collected Legrand. Or at least I'm sure that's the story that Marcus Holmes would have told the referee. Skapetis with the right boot, standing to your left. And then Hatzakostas maybe sizing this one up with the left peg. It was Giannopoulos, in fact, who hit it straight into the wall. Orrit. Langwarrin trying to launch one final counter-attack at the end of the half. Tom Youngs is collected by Stephen Hatzakostas, who himself collects. Did he collect a yellow card there? Because I saw the referee pull it out of his wallet. He does eventually brandish it in the direction of Stephen Hatzakostas. Kingston City's first booking of the day. Portelli sends that one forward for Jaden Madaffery. Wasn't accurate, however. Final chance, perhaps, for Langwarrin. Not with passes like that. And that does bring the first half to a close. The talking points have been few and far between so far, but the main one, or all of the main ones, in fact, have fallen at the feet of Jamie Cumming. It was hard to find clear breakthroughs for either side. Kingston City might have thought they'd have a few chances on the counter-attack, but both of the big ones forced big tackles from Jamie Cumming, who nearly found himself sent off for 2 yellow cards, but was allowed to stay on the field at the decision of referee Ahmed El Jalali. Cumming did eventually have to make his way off the field, injury proving too much for him. He was replaced by Slaven Vrenesevic, as we see a little bit of a boil over happening between home and away side here. Not too sure what the reasoning behind that one was, but it has been a cagey first half between both sides, and now some of the players looking like they'd happily jump into a cage with one another. But it all ends with no one in the lead from the battle, and there's no one in the lead in the score at the moment either. And as we do head in to, as both teams rather head into the halftime sheds, gives you a perfect opportunity not only to look at the halftime graphic and say hello to the smiling face of Slaven Vrenesevic, but also to buy a couple of tickets in Langwarrin's 2021 Monster Raffle. $2 a ticket, and there is over 100 prizes up for grabs, not least 2021 Suzuki Vitara. Maybe I'll buy myself a few tickets at the halftime interval, but there is a link that you can follow on the graphic that is on screen at the moment at halftime. If you've got a spare few minutes, if you've got a spare $2 or $4 or even more dollars than that lying around, maybe behind the couch, go and buy yourself some raffle tickets for the chance to win some of the big prizes on offer. So I'll leave you to go and buy some tickets, and we'll see you for the second 45 shortly. A warm welcome back to Lawton Park for the second 45 of this MPL2 Victoria fixture between the Langwarrin Soccer Club and Kingston City. Still goalless if you are just joining us. You haven't missed anything major as of yet. Neither side finding the breakthrough, but we hope that we do welcome you back from the halftime interval with your wallet feeling a little bit lighter, having chucked a few dollars into the Langwarrin Monster Raffle at halftime. Can still buy tickets if you missed out on the link at the halftime break. Still plenty of opportunities to get involved and grab yourself a chance to win up to 100 prizes. That link will be pasted throughout the Langwarrin socials to come if you have missed out, but it will be there again for you later if you're looking to get involved. Speaking of getting involved, we're back involved with footballing action here at Lawton Park as Kingston City send that diagonal straight to Jaden Midafri to get us underway. Of course, it's not just a great time to get involved in the Langwarrin Monster Raffle, but it is also a good time to recognise the volunteers of clubs across Victorian football. It is Volunteers Week here in Victoria, so if you do know a volunteer, be they at Langwarrin or another club, send them a text. Say thank you. I'll even get things started. I'll say thank you to one of the best volunteers at the Langwarrin Soccer Club, Michelle, operating the camera currently and is trying to capture this goal for Tom Youngs. He cuts it back and making the clearance with Simo Jovanovic. But certainly the most incisive movement through the penalty area for Langwarrin so far. Goulding receives the pass from Vranesevic, now distributes wide. Floated in. Gallo was going for the spectacular. He missed out, but it would have been quite a way to ingratiate yourself to the home faithful if Luke Gallo had have connected there. It was timed perfectly, but the ball in was just offline. That would have been something from Luke Gallo, but instead he's left to think about what might have been. Now Langwarrin have got some defending to do of their own. Marafiotti jinked his pass into Lucas Portelli, who was the player clearing that one there. Daniel Bennett takes the throw on the far side. Looking for Sakizada, who'd made his way up from centre defence. Marafiotti losing out to Vranesevic. Sakizada trying something from distance. His effort blocked. Have a second chance to make something happen here. And it goes out wide to Giannopoulos. Cleared away. Courtesy of that Lucas Portelli diving header. Looking like a salmon breaching out of a stream there to clear that one away. Love a defender who puts their body on the line. Legrand. Nice layoff for Skapetis. Cut out by Marcus Holmes, who tried to swing his leg around quite literally. Nearly did a 180 on the ground there to clear that one further away, but he still ended up putting it into touch. So we may see another substitution here for Langwarrin. It's as though Jeremy Minfar, who did come off in the second half against Pascoe Vale with a bit of an injury concern, might not be fit to continue here. He makes his way off the field of play. And it's Shayan Alinejad who gets ready to replace him. Imagine Alinejad will go straight in to that fullback role where he's played a handful of times this season. I do send our well wishes to Jeremy Minfar. He's in a bit of pain. Kingston with the ball. Skapetis. Evading Luke Gallo and playing it back. The cross comes in. Legrand couldn't rise for it. Giannopoulos brings down. Nice little roulette. Can he find the shot? He's stood up by the Langwarrin defense. And now this game just looking as though it might open up in the second 45. Vrenesevic plays that one to Gallo. The touch is a little bit heavy and the contact is strong from Daniel Bennett. It was a challenge that he didn't really need to make. It looked like Gallo had either flicked the ball up to skip around Daniel Bennett or just totally miscontrolled it. And Bennett just could have used his body to get in between Gallo and the ball, but instead he showed the stunts to the Langwarrin number 2 and has given away a free kick. Gallo asking a few questions of referee Ahmad Al-Jalali. We've not got a goal to bring you yet in this one. Might have one from this Langwarrin free kick, but it does give us time to update you on a goal that's happened elsewhere in the NPL 2. Northcote City at home at the John Cain Memorial Park, trailing 1-0 against Pascoe Vale. It's Tom Youngs who sends that one low right into Sam Morrow. Not sure what the intention was there, but the result is a fruitless one for Langwarrin. Giannopoulos. His attempted clearance straight into Tom Youngs. And another. He was riding his luck there, Giannopoulos, and eventually he has turned it over. Gallo come across to this right-hand side. No one in the box. Is the call coming from the crowd? That is the problem for Langwarrin. They haven't got a target willing to receive. Or it's open on this right-hand side. Vrenesevic finally does move into the penalty area, but he is fighting a losing battle against the size, strength, and presence of Simo Jovanovic and Faisal Sakizada. Alinejad takes the throw, moving up from fullback, where he's playing at the moment. Does jink that cross in. Cleared by Petreski. Legrand just keeping it in the line, but bustled off shoulder to shoulder. Legal challenge from Cheyenne Alinejad. Portelli clears that one to no one in particular, or it mops up. Now Madafri, the little heel chop, allowed the ball to find its way through to Luke Gallo. Certainly the game being played with a lot more verve and vigour so far in the second 45 than the first. As Kontangalakis, having seen 2 changes from Langwarrin, thinks probably time we should make one of our own. And it's Mark Offair, who leaves the field of play. And he's replaced by number 10 for Kingston City, Mo Zwed. Certainly one for the Langwarrin defence and for Cheyenne Alinejad as direct marker to watch out for. Mo Zwed has got plenty of skills in the trick bag. He's a threatening winger who's been playing with Kingston for a number of years. Although some of our younger audience may actually know him as a player in the E-League, competitive FIFA 21 player for Melbourne Victory. Zwed and Rick Tran, his teammate, finished 6th in the E-League competition this year. So he's certainly one to watch out for in a physical footballing sense and in a virtual footballing sense as well. Langwarrin, they turn it over high up the park. Young's this given one to chase. He works his way around Jovanovic, who gets his arm out, stuck out the wings, and put enough contact on Tom Young's to impede him. Not illegally. It was a nice little touch to try and work his way around Jovanovic. But it was like a game of bumper cars. Jovanovic was just trying to get any contact he could to his opponent and got enough to put off Tom Young's. Certainly this game getting a bit more of a flow. It's Langwarrin who are looking brightest at the moment. All right, the chance to shoot from distance. Hits the back fence. It did hit a cross beam, but it was the cross beam of the back fence, and unfortunately not the cross beam or the crossbar of the goal. But it was an interesting one. I was having a few conversations with Langwarrin fans at halftime. Langy Fan TV, if you can call it that. Don't call it that. But they were making a point about how infrequent it is that Langwarrin shoot from distance. That shot from outside the area from Sam Orritt, the first one in quite a while, and maybe something that Langwarrin need to do a little bit more of. Skapetis placed as Wed. Couldn't trick his way around a Linajad. Clearance. Well, the ball had already gone out before his clearance. Portelli sets Orritt the challenge of working his way around Sakizada. At the 30-time Afghan international emerges victorious. It's Lucas Portelli. He's not been back at the club for too long. Now he's already trying to take out home fans. It's an interesting welcome back gift from Lucas Portelli. Luckily, no Langwarrin fans were injured in the making of this broadcast. Well, not yet, at least. Marafiotti has got his back to Marcus Holmes, who's got his number at the moment, the big 33. He's found the undersized Marafiotti. He's maybe found the going a little bit tough between the tall duo of Marcus Holmes and Lucas Portelli. As I mentioned earlier, Kingston are missing their leading goal scorer, Trent Skapetis. Some in the comment section are saying he's the best striker in the MPL2. Might have a case. I wonder if Bulleen's Ben Everson might have a few words to say about it. Luke Gallo doesn't need words. He's all action at the moment on that left flank. Youngs was Hatzakostas who swung the boot out, and he gets a little bump from Rogan McGeorge for his troubles. Those two having a little bit of a tussle in the center circle, but play continues. Giannopoulos, the errant clearance. Tom Youngs. Unfortunately, those long shots, we are starting to see them come through from Langwarrin. Sadly, maybe you can tell that it's been a while since they've shot from distance, because the two so far have been well clear and well wide. But certainly when you do have those shots, it gives defense something extra to think about, forces them to commit pressure and bodies to situations on the edge of the penalty area that they otherwise wouldn't. So even if they're not accurate, they are still asking questions of Kingston City are Langwarrin. But now it's Kingston's turn as Marafiotti puts that one past the face of goal. It was the kind of chance that suspended teammate Trent Skapetis would have loved to tap home. Unfortunately, when you pick up 5 yellow cards, 8 games into the season, you're going to have to miss one. And this is that game. Orritt, diagonal for Alinajad, just had a little bit too much meat on it. But it was the right idea from Sam Orritt, who tried to catch the left full back for Kingston City, Anthony Giannopoulos, napping. Cooper Legrand is down, but Langwarrin continue the play. Eventually, Ahmad El Jalali does stop the play. It is a head injury, so didn't have much of a choice. Legrand kicking the turf. Whether it's in pain or in showmanship, we don't know. But he will receive medical attention from the sideline nonetheless. And while Cooper Legrand is receiving his medical attention, Langwarrin have thought, well, here's a perfect gap for us to make our third and final change of the day. And it is a return from injury, and a very grateful one at that, for Langwarrin's number 15, George Howard, who comes straight in to the attacking three to lead the line. He replaces Luke Gallo, who put himself about very nicely in his first game in a Langwarrin shirt. No goals or assists or anything of the sort. Certainly a bright performance, particularly in the second 45. There's been a few moments today where Langwarrin have managed to work clear in wide areas of the pitch and just haven't had the cattle in the middle of the park. So George Howard certainly bringing a bit of stature into that front three, and they've desperately missed him over the last 4 or 5, possibly even longer weeks than that. So a warm welcome back to George Howard, who has the chance to help Langwarrin grab the opening goal of this game. Double sub waiting in the wings for Kingston. They'll get a chance to go for it at this next stoppage as Jovanovic sends George Howard into the fence there, and Howard didn't like it at all. And it is Jovanovic and Howard who shove themselves to and fro. Bit of a coming together there. George Howard did feel a bit aggrieved at the fact that Simo Jovanovic seemed to have sent him in to the fence. Kingston do make a change now. Anthony Giannopoulos, the player vacating the pitch. He's replaced by Jerry Cavadas. He's no stranger to playing on Lawton Park is Jerry Cavadas. Played for Springvale back in 2019. Although the last time at Lawton Reserve wasn't a very happy one for him. He was part of a springy side that lost 4-0 to Langwarrin. And I'm sure Contangalakis and Kingston are hoping that Jerry Cavadas isn't a bad luck charm. Langwarrin are in the ascendancy at the moment. Got a counter to deal with here, though. Skapetis. Scott Zwed wide. Does work it to him. Legrand motioning forward in the penalty area. Doesn't find him, but at the back post was Gio Marafiotti. His shot took a deflection. The away side will have the corner. And had Fraser McLaren a little bit nervous there for a few moments. Zwed swings in. Corner won't count, though. It's the linesman and referee having a conversation. A little chin wag over on the far side. Not 100% sure about what. But Ahmad El Jalali is heading over towards Kontangalakis, pointing towards the bench. Is it perhaps that he is telling Mark off-air, who's currently sitting on the Langwarrin bench without a substitutes vest, that he needs to put one on? Not 100% sure. Not entirely clear what the situation is here, though. But Ahmad Al Jalali now he's going over to the ground marshal to have a word. Might be he's brandished a few cards in the direction of that bench. Not sure who they were to exactly. Your guess is as good as mine, Langy TV viewers. Let us know what the card was for in the comments. What's your best guess? I'll shout you 2 raffle tickets in the Monster Raffle. If you have managed to get it right, we'll ask the referee at full time. Send your predictions in as to what that was all about. Sanity resumes, and Moswed swings in his corner. Sakizada rising for it, not making contact. Stays in the field of play. Back sent low, little deflection, forces the clearance from Vranesevic. Alinajad gets his header to George Howard, who's able to bring that one under control. Just bringing some physicality that wouldn't otherwise be present in the other forward options that Langwarrin have got. Skapetis certainly provided a lot of flair on the left flank with the salmon pink boots and the short socks. It's a very distinctive look. He's coming forward. Cooper Legrand finishes, or tries to finish, past Fraser McLaren. I thought he'd been able to squeak it under the Langwarrin stopper, but the Mauritian international denied by Langwarrin's number 1. Legrand set up well there by Daniel Bennett, who had bombed his way out of fullback. Petreski swings in from the left side. Rising was Ivanovic. All right, under pressure from Zwed. Just waiting for cavalry to arrive, and he does knock back to George Howard. The touch is a little bit heavy, but he jinks his way around. Pass from Orrit. Probably not the right decision to switch it there. They have the space and perhaps the man advantage, him and George Howard on the broadcast side. Maybe Langwarrin just overcomplicating things a little bit. Tick over into the 70th minute at Lawton Park. Still goalless. We've got some goals elsewhere in the MPL too. We'll bring those to you in a moment. I'd even bring them to you now that chance has died down. Northcote City have found a leveller out in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. They're at 1-1 with Pascoe Vale. Moreland City have extended their advantage, 5-0 up against Manningham. George Howard knocks that header back. And North Geelong, wow, this is quite the result in the offing over at Elko Park. North Geelong 1-0 up against Brunswick City, and that might give some encouragement to Kingston City as they try to come forward. They can find a goal and get themselves in the lead. 3 points, if that result holds at North Geelong for Brunswick City, would allow Kingston to leapfrog their championship rivals. And Zwed Out muscles Portelli. On the left, the outside of the foot. Cross, was it a shot? We can't be 100% certain other than of the final result, which was an easy catch for Fraser McLaren. That news of the 1-0 lead for North Geelong against Brunswick starting to filter through to some of the away Kingston fans underneath the Gus McLeod stand. May provide some impetus for Kingston, who are starting to create a few chances. Was Gio Marafiotti onside? He was. Now the chance to cross. He goes low. Can't beat the first man. Cavadas. Back with Marafiotti. That cross is a better looking one. Here's Skapetis. Back post. Gets round Orange. Sends that one across the face. Legrand was stretching for it, but he's beaten to the punch by Marcus Holmes. Cavadas coming across. Take the corner. Sent low, not past the first man. Skapetis collects, into the penalty area. Again, battling with Orrid. That's an inventive cross, and Sakizada was salivating at the prospect of getting his head on that one. It's denied again by the Langwarrin back four, on whom the pressure is continuing to mount. Cavadas has his shot deflect off Legrand. Another chance perhaps for Jovanovic. The ball stayed in the field of play here, and McLaren goes for meters. Knew he wasn't going to find a teammate, so I said, I'm going to hit this one into touch, but get as much on it as I possibly can without putting myself in danger. Zwed has come across to the right. Held up well by Madafri, who picks up the free kick and exchanges a few words with Swed. There has been some tensions bubbling away between these two sides throughout the course of the game. There's a little fracas just before halftime as the teams headed into the sheds. There's a little battle between Simo Jovanovic and George Howard. Had a few undercards. Maybe the goal in this game could be the main event. Madafri to Goulding. A lot of pressure from Stephen Hatzakostas. Could have very easily turned into the Kingston 77, but worked it clear. All right. Working his way wide at Petreski. Cavadas thought he'd won the throw there. Lino thought differently. Wayne Valentine is the first to submit a prediction for what the referee was doing with that long stoppage of play over in the Kingston City bench. So he was checking they weren't getting sunburn. You sit in the sun over on that side of Lawton Park at your own risk. Most others choosing the shade. And Kontangalakis choosing to make a change. As Gio Marafiotti's race is run, he'll head towards Kontangalakis and pick up a little bit of a hug as he moves towards the bench. And it's George Gerandaris who enters the field of play. One of three Gerandaris triplets on the books here at Kingston, which is, you sometimes get brother pairings contracted at a single club. It's very rare that you get a triplet. More on the Cavadas family in a second, though. So turn our attention to the game. Manafri rolls that one inside for McGeorge. A lot of first-time angled passes. Eventually, Langwarrin nearly find one. George Howard working very well to keep that one under control, but the diagonal ball for Sam Orrit runs over the line before the speedster could connect with it. He's a fast player. And that was asking a lot of him. So if you did miss that earlier sub, it is George Gerondaris. Made his way onto the field of play. Brothers Marios and Stefanos, both playing in the under-21s, who went down to Langwarrin today in the curtain raiser for this fixture. Also informed there was a 6-0 win for the Langwarrin under-19s earlier today as well. It's been a good day at the office if you wear the blue, red and the white of Langwarrin. Legrand, Skapetis, chance to shoot, decided against it. Tried to pop it wide instead to George Gerondaris. Maybe just got caught between two decisions there. Kind of decided neither in the end, just sort of passed it diagonally out of play for a Langwarrin goal kick. Shout out to Jonathan Webb, a man who made his name, or is well known for filming these broadcasts in years gone by, now watching. Very warm welcome to you, Jonathan. It is 0-0. We'll excuse your late entrance into the stream. No goals as of yet, but certainly the second 45 has been brighter than the first. Cooper Legrand holding the honour of the best chance of the game so far. As Zwed does well to deceive Madafri there. Can he find a good cross? Not at all is the answer. Puts that one straight out into the retaining wall. The old ball saver, that's what they call it. Cavadas was rising for that one. He forced the clearance from Sakizada. This one's going to put Marcus Holmes under pressure from Skapetis. And then Alinejad himself had Mo Zwed hot on his heels. Zwed will pick up the throw. Or pick up the ball and give the opportunity to throw to Philip Petreski. All right. Goes down. And Lucas Portelli clears away. Sam Orrit has stayed down, and Ahmad Al-Jalali will just check that he's okay. Both managers have played all their cards off the bench. So there'll be no one left to come on and change this game. It will be down to the 22 on field. So we tick into the final 10 minutes of regulation time. Judged well by Howard. Cavadas was the player applying pressure in that first time pass. He's been a while out of the side, George Howard. It's just been at 6s and 7s with Sammy Orrit on the link-up a few times today. As Skapetis has played through nicely and brought down potentially by Marcus Holmes. Holmes is alleging that he got a bit of the ball there, and it won't be a penalty. But certainly Peter Skapetis thought otherwise. Unfortunately for the Kingston City striker, Ahmad Al-Jalali wasn't convinced. Langwarrin have had a few line ball decisions go their way today, and perhaps that's another one to add to the ledger. See if we can take a look at that one on replay. after this corner from Philip Petreski. Sent low, cleared away by Marcus Holmes, who picks up a little bump from Faisal Sakizada. Certainly it was Holmes and Skapetis who exchanged a strong war of words in the aftermath of that penalty shout. Vrenesevic flicks well to Tom Youngs, who hasn't been heavily involved in the game of late. Howard sprays that one for Orrit. He's had a few elude him today, but that one stays in the field of play. Can he find a teammate in the middle? Not in the penalty box, but at the back post, waiting for it was Youngs. He's played back to Howard. The low shot forces the clearance from Cavadas. That one comes in from Rogan McGeorge. Certainly Langwarrin testing or attempting to test Rani Dawisha, whose name I've not really had to call at all in this second 45 from distance. Kingston City defence doing well to get the blocks in. Over at John Cain Memorial Park, Pascoe Vale have taken a 2-1 lead over Northcote City. And Manningham have grabbed a consolation goal, trailing 5-1 to Moreland. Alinajad chests, flicks it back in. Now it's to Vrenesevic. The first time shot is curled, and it was always bending away from goal, unfortunately, for Callum Goulding. Haven't found any, or many, I should say, clear breakthroughs in the penalty area. Certainly putting efforts in from range. The other result currently happening, and it's a good one if you are a Kingston City viewer. North Geelong still holding that 1-0 advantage over Brunswick City with 14 minutes of regulation left to play in that one. The breakaway potentially here for Langwarrin. Tom Youngs, the chance to run at Sakizada. He sits one down, but unfortunately put his effort straight at Rani Dawisha. He'd beaten both centre-backs, Sakizada and Jovanovic, who had his rear end on the turf after that little feint from the Langy number 9. Deceiving the defenders was arguably the most complicated part of the occasion. He had an opening enough to pick his spot and really test Rani Dawisha. Maybe the pressure of the moment has got a little bit too much for the Englishman. I'm sure his family will either be watching this one live right now as I'm talking or on replay over from the UK. But a good chance goes begging for Langwarrin. Dangerous clearance right into the middle of the park is mopped up well. Orrit does well to win. Good control close from George Howard. Youngs, another chance. He's brought down on that occasion by Stephen Hatzakostas. Midfield workhorse, Zwed. Will he win this one? It's 10 on 10. Zwed wins. And Skapetis, he'll have a chance from distance. And that one traces wide of the left-hand upright. Great shot from Peter Skapetis. Didn't spend too much time thinking about it at all. He went straight for the kill. And Langwarrin's clean sheet was nearly dead and buried. Howard rising, losing out to Sakizada. The physical challenges are flying in with the 3 points still on the line. Clever work from Madafri to get around Gerondaris. Pass forward, missing its intended target in George Howard, however. Alinajad wins the latest of battles between himself and Mo Zwed. It's been an interesting little challenge between the two substitutes. Legrand. He's got his head up. He wants to switch it across. He does eventually find Jerry Cavadas. Again, Kingston City showing they're very light on the trigger finger. Anytime they find an opening, They will shoot from distance. And while there hasn't been many clear-cut chances in the penalty area for either side, save for that earlier penalty shout for Peter Skapetis, I guess the neutral viewers will be buoyed by the fact that on the basis of what we've seen so far, if there is going to be a winner for either side, it's going to be a corker from outside the box. Here's Langwarrin looking to prove me wrong, though. George Howard edging his way towards the byline. Great work. It was elegant on the left. But the experienced head of Simo Jovanovic managed to do enough to ensure that ended up in a Kingston goal kick. It was Hatzakostas who picked up that free kick after an elegant bit of work. And now get himself set to take the free kick that he won. As we wait for the free kick to come in, Brunswick City have managed to find an equaliser out at Elko Park. 1-1 against North Geelong. It's Akostas to the edge of the area. It's Cavadas. Straight to Fraser McLaren. But it could have been a spectacular potential winner. Speaking of winners, Langwarrin were looking for one there if Tom Youngs could have used his body effectively. Alinajad just slightly misjudged that one, and the nice outside the foot touch from Zwed has set him up for a foot race. The experience of Cheyenne Alinajad got him the victory, albeit temporarily. As the throw in deep. It is, as it's been for all 86 minutes here at Lawton Park, a game that is just waiting for either side to come and claim it by the scruff of the neck. Still 0-0. Vrenesevic loops that one for Sam Orrit. George Howard shins that one, unfortunately. Regan McGeorge called for it and won. Had to, and you call that strongly. Tom Youngs was waiting for the overlapping run of Jaden Medafri. Didn't find it, but managed to work the angle with Vrenesevic. That's sprayed by Orrit, or by Goulding to Orrit. Tom Youngs, the dummy, does it find Vrenesevic? Nearly. Good interception. Coming in from Daniel Bennett. Goulding, the hopeful ball forward. Not finding anyone. He kicks out at the fence in frustration. That's no way to treat the sponsor boards. Cal? I hope that the Lamatina Group sponsor board is doing okay. Youngs rolling it back. It's a nice ball in behind. Jovanovic has misjudged it, and Medafri has got Orrit moving into the penalty area. Simo Jovanovic repents for his sins there. He missed his initial clearance, but did well enough to get back and cover Jaden Medafri's attempted cross. There will still be a corner for the home side. And they've scored a few memorable corners late at this very venue. Have Langwarrin. Might be a chance for another one. They take it short and quickly. Goulding sends that in diagonally. Holmes was rising for it. It was Portelli, in fact, who bobbed up at the back post. And that is a golden chance that goes begging for the home side. Just got the timing of the jump misjudged slightly there. He was rising at the wrong moment, couldn't really flick it down, could only generate power upwards and over the bar agonizingly for Langwarrin. That's Acostas. Misjudging the speed in behind of Moswed. Maybe misjudging as well the amount of meters on the park that he had to work with. Sakizada. Clearance is straight into the middle of the park and directly to Tom Youngs. Held up nicely by Cavadas, whose pressure is enough to force Langwarrin into the back third. Now they try another assault on goal. Madaffery. He's jinked clear of his marker. Can he find a target in the middle? Can't get it past the first man. Good interception. Speaking of good interceptions, that's a great tackle in the middle. A good pickup from Slaven Vranesevic against his old side, no less. Orrit. Chance to take on Petreski on the right. Clips it in. It's across the face of goal and forced into the clearance with Simo Jovanovic. We had hoped that when George Howard came on, he'd be the target that could get on the end of those crosses that Langwarrin had put into the penalty area. Not that one, however. Vranesevic likes to hit them from distance, and maybe that's what he should have done, because the pass from Tom Youngs, or to Tom Youngs, was offline. Youngs, the flick on, will be claimed gratefully by Dowisher. Youngs battling with Jovanovic. It's the tall defender who emerges victorious. Tom Youngs is bundled over by Faisal Sakizada. It's Cavadas who cleared that one away. Escapes the card, but a good free kick opportunity in the offing for Langwarrin. Over 47 viewers on the Facebook stream here at Langy TV. Plenty more over on the YouTube stream as well, where you can rewind and pause and all that good stuff. But all in the stream, presiding over this Langwarrin free kick. Tom Youngs. They went close earlier, Langwarrin. That one not quite as successful from the set piece. George might have a chance to recycle. Instead, he goes to Portelli. It's just on his haunches a little bit. Kingston bringing the defenders out of the set piece defensive shape. Chance may still be on for Langwarrin. Madaffery sends that diagonal in. It's a great looking one. Orrit was lining up for it. And it was a defensive clearance and a nick off the forehead in that penalty box that denied Sam Orrit a chance to hit on goal. The clearances amounted to a Langwarrin corner though. McGeorge wearing the captain's armband. Can he find the opening? Questions of handball in the penalty area. Ahmad El Jalali denies. And Kingston head for safety. How's your touch, Langwarrin crowd? The answer, not very good. So no one could bring that down under the Gus McLeod stand. We've got a new ball. Vranesevic, nice play on the edge of the penalty area. Howard, the touch was a little bit heavy. It may still be alive here for Langwarrin. Youngs taking on Bennett. Thought he'd worked it through the legs. Bennett stood him up. Legrand trying to take that little one-touch turn on the move. is judging it slightly. We're into stoppage time here at Lawton Park. Sun is set over the field, and so too does the sun set over this game that goes without a goal between Langwarrin and Kingston City. There wasn't a clear opening for either side across the 90, but plenty of shots from distance, plenty of half chances, and plenty of excitement in the second 45. Kingston City will maybe feel slightly aggrieved that they didn't have a chance to hit the ball from the penalty spot after Marcus Holmes brought down Peter Skapetis on 60 minutes, but Ahmad El Jalali was unmoved, and so too was the scoreline. It did end up goalless at the end of the 90 minutes, but it was a great game here at Lawton Park. One that gives both home and away sides a point here in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. If you have joined us today on Langy TV, a big thank you for tuning in. I've been Lockie Flanagan taking you through this game. We thank you, as always, for your company. The chance to go top for Kingston goes begging, and Langwarrin say sayonara to their home fans for the last time in 2 months, and got the next 2 months worth of fixtures away. And they say goodbye to their home faithful for the last time in quite a while as they get ready to leave the field of play. I think that's where we'll call it too. Here at Lawton Park, it's ended Langwarrin 0, Kingston City 0.